Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator of human race. And among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit
Good evening, my fellow Americans. It is I, your lovable host, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. Yes, indeed. Here we are this Tuesday, December the 18th, in the year of our Lord 2012, coming to you from the state with the motto that states, live free or die, not big government or bust. And we are back on the air. Last night had a little bit of a hiccup due to the sound. I'm guessing the sound chip in my HP computer, but got a new one. And we'll see if that's the issue and see if that fixes the problem. And hopefully we'll get through all 2 hours this evening. If not, we'll be searching for a new broadcast computer in 2013. Maybe that's the way certain computer companies keep people, keep the computer industry going. Is they build defaulting, imperfect computers and computers that are outside of software. Just the hardware becomes obsolete. There was a point in the United States. Where car manufacturers, they sort of engineered obsolescence. I mean, which is why before very tight tolerances and quality became more than just a buzzword, but something that Americans truly expected, and slapped American car companies back in the late 70s, early 80s, when they started to go to the foreign car companies, especially Japanese cars, because of their higher quality. Look, I know people who worked at, GM and Ford, and they said basically there was a built-in obsolescence. Why? For two reasons. One, because of repairs, it would keep the mechanics at their dealerships busy, because that was the whole notion. I mean, that was the big thing. A car dealer, even to this day, a car dealer doesn't make the bulk of their profit on the front end, up front in the showroom. That's not where a car dealer makes their money. Why do you think when you go to most car dealerships, they have such huge service departments? Because that's where their profit and money is. I'm not dissing them at all, but obviously, as manufacturers got their tolerances tighter on cars, they started adding longer warranties. Now, obviously, a car manufacturer doesn't want to warranty a car for 50,000 miles or 3 years or what have you and have it break. Then they started to say, well, 70,000 miles and 100,000 miles. Well, they obviously don't want these vehicles to break within that time frame, so that obsolescence feature began to disappear. And now you can, it's even for the cheapest cars. 200,000 miles, if your car doesn't get 200,000 miles with just regular maintenance, there's something, nobody's going to buy the car. it's going to get very bad ratings. So, look, I've got a car now that's got 185,000 miles on it. And, it's a Toyota product. And I don't plan on changing it anytime soon or replacing. Well, I do plan on getting a used vehicle, a Jeep. Like a Jeep Wrangler or CJ7 or something like that, just because they're fun. And it's something that I could probably drive around town a little bit and take some of the mileage off of the other car. I don't plan on buying a new car. And I know some people are saying, well, you're not contributing to the economy. Oh, yeah, I am. I'm still buying a used vehicle. I will probably go to a used car dealer or a dealership that has the used vehicle that I want instead of buying it from an individual because, again, you really never know what you're getting from an individual. At least with most car dealers, you're getting some sort of warranty, even if it's just what is it now? It's a 60 or 30 or 60 or 90-day warranty is the even the used car lots will toss on a 30-day warranty now. So it's usually like 30 days or 1,000 miles or something, really low like that. But but at least they're backing up their stuff. Unfortunately, it's very difficult with computers to utilize any warranties that you have because it's usually when something goes wrong with the computer after 30 days, you can't exchange it at the place that you bought it from. You have to send it back into the manufacturer. Now, when you're talking about a desktop, that's kind of an expense. And most of the time, the manufacturers like HP, Dell, all those people, they don't pay your shipping cost. Not to mention, I have heard people say, well, they sent back the computer. They put it in the box that they bought the computer in. They sent it back to the manufacturer. And, the UPS or the U.S. Postal Service or FedEx, they damage the box a little bit. Happens sometimes. But the manufacturer says, well, it's not their fault. They can't honor the agreement because the computer was damaged. More than, physical damage. And it doesn't, and their warranties don't cover physical abuse. Well, that may change too because people are getting a little fed up with this kind of stuff. I know they're getting fed up with computers that don't work like they're supposed to. This is Microsoft is under the microscope with this Windows 8 product. And so far, what I'm seeing and hearing from it, it's a mixed bag. There are people that love it, people that loathe it, people that are indifferent, people that say it's junk. It's typical Microsoft when they come out with something new. Well, I don't. What was that? Was it the Microsoft ME and Microsoft Vista? I mean, those are just junk. People hate it though. I remember, keeping it an XP. I had a white box built, and this was before. Was it Microsoft before Vista? But I wasn't going to put any other Microsoft because the XP Second Edition 2E, as it was called, was proven and worked better than anything that Microsoft came out post XP at that point. And so I went back to the old version of Microsoft, while some people were trying to upgrade to the newer Microsoft stuff. And sure, it looked pretty, but at the time, but it just didn't work well. And that's what's more important, is something that actually works well. Looking pretty will only get you so far, because after a certain point, if it doesn't work, nobody wants it. And this is the same thing that we have to understand with politics. We're in for a rude awakening because it looks pretty. It looks real pretty to blame the rich, to blame the bankers, to blame, the big corporations. But when you tax the hell out of them and they begin to not be rich. Now, we got some, there's, I hear people say, well, the rich aren't affected by a recession. Oh, no? We have over 300,000 people who are now former millionaires since 2008 when the recession began. So don't tell me that a recession and taxation and regulation don't affect rich people. Because there are people that before 2008, over 300,000 of them, that were millionaires. Today they are not. For various reasons, but it's all because of a down economy. So it does affect wealthy people. And this notion that, you can attack wealthy people all the time and just tax them. Well, you know who I always say there is a grain of truth that you don't hurt the rich. You really don't hurt them that much. If they're really, really rich and they're smart rich, no, they do not get hurt that much. I will agree. But there will be people who are hurt. Now, I know you hear, well, the rich don't help people get jobs. They don't create jobs. Really? Who builds their yachts? Especially if they buy them here in America. Who builds their boats? Well, it's American workers, middle-class people. Sure, maybe they don't buy, Cadillac is doing well, so they buy Cadillacs. But maybe a lot of them don't buy Cadillacs. They buy Mercedes or they buy Beamers. Some of those foreign cars are actually built here in the U.S. now, by the way. But let's say they're not. They buy their Maybachs and they buy their other supercars and stuff. Question is, all those cars are here in the U.S. Who services those vehicles? Who maintains them? Who are their mechanics? They don't, if they have a Mercedes or if they have a Maybach or if they have a Ferrari, they don't ship it back. They don't ship the Ferrari back to Italy every time they need an oil change or it needs a 5,000-mile tune-up or something. No, it gets done right here. A mechanic here in the States is hired by that rich person to take care of that vehicle. Well, if they don't buy those vehicles, they're not going to take it to the mechanic. Well, they can't take a car to a mechanic if they don't own it. How about all the other stuff that, going out to dinner? Sure, you may, like me, I complain, if I go to a restaurant and they're telling me that the bill, for two people is going to be $200. Like, what? Why? Well, I might not be willing to spend that kind of money constantly going out to dinner, but wealthy people do. And you'll probably say, well, they can afford to do it less. Well, if the wealthy don't visit that restaurant, how is that waiter and waitress? How is that hostess? How is that sous chef? How is that a dishwasher going to earn money? It all cycles. If a business caters to a certain class of people, let's say, great, they found a niche. They should be able to serve it if they want to. Because obviously, if everybody catered to the McDonald's crowd, well, somebody isn't going to make it. There are going to be people out of a job. Well, let's just use round numbers here. Let's just say we have 100,000 restaurants in the country. And let's say, let's even it out. 1/3 is fast food like McDonald's, Burger King, that kind of stuff, real cheap stuff. 1/3 is, your sit-down eateries like, TGI Fridays, Olive Garden. And 1/3 is, is the upper crust stuff like Spago or something. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse where dinner for two could easily be well above $100. Now, what happens if all those rich people stop going to those restaurants? Well, there's only so many people in the middle class and lower class that are going to